a gorgeous day out today. So I got our building materials laid out. I got my best helper right here. So let's build some garden beds. I did choose to get the pre-stained treated lumber from Home Depot just because it's such a pretty color and it ages beautifully. And typically you can't stain or paint treated lumber for a season or even up to a year to give it plenty of time to dry out first. With this option, it's beautiful from the get-go, so I highly recommend it if you haven't tried it. Here's a closer look at the color. It's so pretty. So I'm gonna go ahead and separate and lay out everything that I'm gonna need for each box. Be building 4 12-foot long by 3-foot wide raised garden beds, and I'm going to be building them 2 deck boards tall. And I'm doing them 3-foot wide just because I'm short and I want to be able to reach all the way across them. Okay, so I laid out all my materials for each box, and for each of them I need 4 12-foot long deck boards. But I'm going to cut about 4 inches off of each one because I'm going to be doing a ledge around the top of my box, and I want that ledge to overhang the box by about 2 inches. And then I also have these 2 extra deck boards, which I'll cut into my 3-foot sections for the ends of the garden beds. I'm going to measure and cut off 4 inches from this board, and then I can use it as a template for the rest of them. I got 4 inches cut off of all of these. So now I'm just going to go ahead and start setting them up, and then I can cut my 3-foot long pieces for the ends of them. All right, so measuring for 3 foot. I'll go ahead and make my first cut. And then now I have my board that I can just slide down on the rest to know exactly where I need to cut. I just have to make sure my ends are lined up. They're nice and flush. I'm good to go. I wanted to mention, in case you don't have all the tools that you might need to build raised garden beds, but you still want to, Home Depot has an awesome tool rental selection. We've used them a ton. And they'll cut things for you in the store. In the lumber section, they have cutting stations set up. You just have to ask. Now that I have all of my end pieces and side pieces cut for the garden beds, this is where my 2x4 by 12 comes in. I'm going to use it, I'm going to cut it down to about 11 1/4 so that you won't see it above the dirt, but I'm going to add it as a support on each of the sides in the center of the garden beds. So now that I have the supports cut for the inside of the length of the garden beds, so you can see, put them there. I'm going to cut these 4x4s to go in the corners. They'll add additional support as well as giving me something to anchor my top boards to create my ledge around the boxes. All my corner pieces are cut. You can see I have them laid at each end. That way it'll make assembly easier. So the only thing I have left to actually cut is the ledge around the top, and I'm going to wait to do that until I have the garden beds built themselves. But I think assembly should go fairly quick tomorrow. Right, y'all, good morning. It is slightly less windy this morning, so I'm gonna go ahead and start getting these garden boxes built. All I have to do is start assembling them. Using these deck screws that are coated to match the wood, so they'll blend right in. So I'm gonna start by attaching one of the 2x4s to the center of the inside of one of the sides of the garden beds. So I pushed my boards together. I also made sure that the stamp label is on the inside. So because my screws are a little bit long, you can see them poking through there, I actually flipped the boards over and attached them from the outside. So my 2x4 is right there. So now that my 2x4s are attached to the middle, I'm gonna go ahead and attach my corner posts that will add a lot more stability and also give my top ledge something to attach to. Now I can go ahead and attach my ends. 1 down, 3 to go. And then I'll cut the ledge for the top of each of them after I get them all built. It was helpful to put something underneath the corners for support, just to make sure that everything was nice and square and flush. Last box. even though the wind has obviously picked up, Archie, I'm gonna go ahead and keep working and try to get some of the ledges done for around the top of the garden beds. Just because our weather has been so unpredictable this spring. I know there's storms moving in, so even though it's a little windy, it's still a beautiful day, and I'm gonna take advantage of it. So I'm gonna use deck boards for around the top too. I'm gonna go ahead and mark them with a pen, which way I need to cut my 45s, because I'm gonna cut them at 45-degree angles. Good grief, kitty. You are needy today. The ledges are on. Next up, we'll fill the boxes.